I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm just debunking Braxton family values for this thing. The reason why I get so angry with people that make so many comments about it because they keep saying Miss E bitter, Miss E this, Miss E, Miss E, Miss E. Okay, let's take it. Everybody trying to sit there and say that they want big families, right? Okay, say you have a divorce. How you gonna take care of 6 children? Now let's multiply it. Let's say you got more children than that. That's a lot of income. So that's what I'm saying. When you got 2 people taking care of kids, there's 6 of them, right? So that means 6 things of school supplies, right? That means 6 things of deodorant, and because the majority of them have pads, right? I don't know how it was back then, but I'm just being honest. Everybody want a big family. Let's talk about it. It's 6 sets of always because you have 5 girls, right? Only 2 of y'all are men. The rest are all girls. That's a lot of money on always. Let's talk about hair supplies because we are African American women. That's a lot of money on hair supplies. Let's talk about food. There's 10 people. Did I say that right? No, there's 8 people in the house. That's a lot of money on food. Let's also talk about gas money because things are that far. I spend probably like $100, $150 on gas alone because of my job. That times 8 people, that's a lot of money on gas. So when you have somebody who does stupid stuff like that, the reason why women hate cheating so much, I'm tired of people acting like it's just a woman. Listen, men will never understand this because they don't carry children. You cannot give somebody seed. We go through the pains for 9 months, right? Just to give birth is dangerous. You could lose your life, you could do all of that. So when I hear people sit there and say, oh, I understand, I get it, you only had 2 kids, you don't understand what that's like. You're only suffering with 2 children. Try another 4 added to that. That's 6 kids. That means somebody's got to teach them about the birds and the bees. That means somebody has to teach them about their periods. That means somebody's got to teach them about how to go to school. Some stuff you missed because you're too busy trying to survive. And that's why I'm saying, you over here judging Miss E, you don't know what she had to sacrifice. So my thing about it is, when her ex-husband was acting like this, I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying, you guys as the audience keep jumping at her. You didn't live her life. I don't know nothing about Mr. Michael. I don't know anything about Mr. Michael. That's not my business. All I know is that my issue with people is because of the show. They thought that they had a right to say whatever they wanted to say. For me, I don't really like what's his name's wife because, and I'm not saying anybody's names, but I don't like her wife. Not the wife that you think. I'm talking about the youngster's wife that told the family that the siblings were laughing at her. Listen, here's my thing. When you're an in-law, you got to know your place. If there is a family rift, that's why I'm saying there's no boundaries in our community at times because we just do whatever, say whatever. That's not the case. Not everybody acts like that, but some stuff you got to have boundaries. If you are an in-law, you let the siblings argue. You do not get into it because I'm going to tell you what happens. It'll have animosity towards you and them. You don't get into sibling rivalry because that stuff is deadly. Let the husband, if that's their brother, argue about that. That's not your place to jump in and say you can't talk to my husband like that because that was his brother before became your husband. You see what I'm saying? So people trying to defend and protect, let the family fight. That's what they do. That's not for the in-laws to jump in. You got to know your respect. That's the reason why I commend Kevin Sr., because he said, you don't get involved. The reason why he's quiet, the reason why he didn't do anything is because he's respecting the boundary. You don't try to fix stuff and you don't know where the root of it is because it unlocks something. That's what he was saying. And for people to come at them crazy, You don't know what that feels like, to feel like you're nothing in a family where everybody feels like a body size is one thing, where everybody feels like you're nothing. And then now you got, now because of the so-called show, you got people disrespecting you, and now you can't say nothing because y'all showed people how to treat you. I'm not coming at that family. I'm just giving you an example on why you don't put your family on TV. Some things you go to counseling for, some things you go to God in prayer. You got to know the difference. And you guys just coming out here for money, big freaking deal. Money will come. Your reputation will never come back. Period. So when you saying dumb shit on the internet, and I'm over here watching Tasha K, and yes, I'm airing it all out. I'm over here watching Tasha K. They're over there making fun of the situation because they think it's funny. And then you had another person sitting there talking about Tawanda being broke and she's irresponsible. You don't know what's going on in their life. How can you tell somebody what a person is going through? What is wrong with you? You don't have a right to be putting your nose in everybody's business. Yes, they're reality stars, but they're still famous people. You do not have a right to tell them what to do with their lives. That is their business. Now, if they're being abusive, if they're doing something against the law, that's when you step in. But the problem with y'all broke people is y'all always trying to fix everybody's life in Hollywood. Y'all can't even fix your life. That's the reason why I come on here, because you got people sitting there really acting like they know these people. Y'all don't know these people from a can of paint. From a can of freaking pint paint. You don't know them. That's an Indiana slang for you just don't know somebody. What the hell is wrong with some of y'all? Like, y'all don't know what these people go through. You got folks sitting there defending Beyonce. You don't know what she goes through. You're not in her life. You're not in her marriage. You're not in her bed. You got folks trying to sit there and come for Whitney Houston. You wasn't in her bed. You don't know what she had to go through. And everybody keeps saying, oh, it's Nick, it was Nick, it was Nick. Y'all need to wake up. Nick can only do so much. Yes, Nick did stuff. Can I be honest? Nick, yes, did stuff. But let me tell you something. You can only do only as much as what you can do if you allow it. If you allow it, that means you have to get family permission. That's why I said, don't sit there and be blaming everybody else. You got to blame the family for that. People sitting there talking about Aaliyah. Aaliyah has been gone for I don't know how long, and now we're just now getting her justice. Everybody like, you'll get in trouble for saying stuff about Aaliyah. No, that's the truth. It doesn't make any sense for somebody, you know your daughter is of age, is not of age, you're giving her to somebody. You are so easy to have money, you're going to prostitute your children? And you wonder why people view black folks as and anybody as barbaric, because of the stuff that we do for money. It doesn't make sense. I understand the struggle, but I don't understand sitting there sacrificing your family for stuff like that. That's the reason why slavery is such a hard topic, because nobody's willing to tell the truth. Either the white folks came and got us, or Africa just threw us away. Which one is it? Because everybody keeps talking about this is not what happened. How do you come into a country that's bigger than any continent and take people if you don't have permission? That's what I'm saying. Nobody is. You can't go to you can't go to Haiti doing stupid stuff like that. You dang sure can't go to China and start taking Chinese people. So how do you go in a country that's Africa and go to the other provinces and do that stuff? That is my question. You cannot just. That's like an animal, a puppy. If she's pregnant, or I mean a dog, if she's pregnant, is not going to let you touch her newborn puppies after she just gave birth, because it's a motherly instinct. How come animals have more motherly instincts than people? That's what I don't understand. If you don't want to have children, my thing is inside out, my bad. If you don't want to have children, then don't have them. But stop punishing these kids for why you couldn't close your legs. It's not my fault that you couldn't have a hot girl summer, but you're not going to sit here and make fun of these kids, get mad at the kid because you don't like the person. You be careful who you have sex with. Period. You don't just be screwing everybody, and then then you sitting there, you got songs, you look like your daddy's son. You're giving these kids a complex about themselves, and you wonder why they don't like themselves. That sounds stupid. And then you got the nerve to sit there and come at Michael Jackson and people who went through way worse, more abuse, and sit there and say he did all these other things. You guys just didn't like that a black person knew what he was doing. That is the truth. That is the truth. That is the truth. That you didn't like the fact that a black man could achieve something. So because he's a black man, you wanted to set him up, and that's what you did. Because Whitney Houston was a black woman, you set her up. Listen, people have problems all day long. People don't drink just to be drinking unless you're stressing them now. It's common sense. But you know what we do? We sit there, we always trying to be in everybody's business. We're too busy trying to be another ethnicity that will never love us or accept us. Period. They hate us. Not everybody, but some of them. Because we know the truth. Do you realize in slavery, people were getting beat just because they were trying to learn how to read? If you don't know how to read, you can't control somebody. That's alleged. But why is it all of a sudden now, all of these things, people can't get up? I'm just trying to understand something. Help me understand it. 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 Help me understand why it's a problem. Are you going to talk about the churches? How come the churches are always in secret societies, but no one wants to talk about it? That you guys can sacrifice people and all under the name of God. You know what I'm saying? But I can't say that because if I say what I really want to say, I can get in a whole lot of trouble. Churches have ways of getting rid of people, just like people do. Let's take my situation. I was at Loving Dare Daycare. And about a few years ago, I was 3 years old. A teacher banged my head onto the pavement. And instead of talking about it, what did the bishop do? This is what Bishop did. Bishop, instead of dealing with the person who injured me, she turns around and blames it on my father. This is why you want to know what happened to my family? I'm going to tell you. They blame it on my father. They're like, no, they're in counseling. The court ends up looking at them. And then they say, oh, you're doing this. I'm court ordering you to divorce this person. Listen. People who don't know marriages, that's the reason why I don't like my ex-friend, because she's like, people can't court order you to do anything. Oh, really? You're not a judge. You're just a person who's trying to get somewhere. You don't know anything because you haven't gone through my life. And then that's the reason why we're not friends, because she's so stupid. You think just because you're getting a master, you know everything. That's the problem. You and your family can't even identify with being black because your mom was too busy trying to teach you guys how to be white. You can't be white. You can't be an ethnicity. You just are who you are. Anyway, that's the truth about them. That's why I don't like them. I will never talk to them. And they're shady. Because you know the truth. You've been knowing me my whole entire life and you act like an ass. That's another story. Anyway, my problem is, instead of you dealing with, the reason why I'm so sensitive about kids is because of stuff that happened to me. You wanted to blame my parents for the stuff that happened. She didn't know. My mother was working. You want to know why my mother was working so much? Because my dad was too lazy to get a job. And when he did get a job, he was too busy sleeping with every woman that he saw because he can't control his parts. So that's my issue. Everybody got all these things to say, but he can't control himself. That's what he was doing. And then they say, oh, Sabrina's crazy. Sabrina's going through stuff. No, Sabrina's tired of watching stuff. You don't know what my eyes has seen for 25 years. 25 years might not be long, but you'd be surprised what you could see within 25 years that you really wanted to unsee. The fact that you guys think Alien versus Predator is an appropriate movie where the alien is basically attacking a pregnant woman. You got to know to draw the line. Being pregnant is not something that you play with. That is disgusting. Beauty and the Beast is not something that you play with. You don't sit there and fall in love with somebody that kidnaps you. That is wrong. It's a big deal. That's wrong. That's rape. Me Too. The dude was raping her. You got to know the difference. And then for somebody to sit there and say, oh, how do you know that this is alleged? I've read it. Just because I don't read everything, just because I'm not at this level of status, that's the reason why, I'm going to just be honest with you, that's the reason why me and Jordan are not friends. Just because I don't have the statue like she has, you don't understand what I've gone through. She's selfish. I love my best friend, but she thinks she's better than anybody. I love a lot of my friends, but she thinks she's better than anybody because her mother has taught her that you can be better if you sound a certain way. Period. Her mother has sacrificed a lot for me. I'm not going to disrespect her, but I'm going to disrespect my friend because you did something you had no business prying your business because you're nosy. You have the Holy Ghost. How come you couldn't just get on your knees and pray? You don't have you don't have the Holy Ghost. Because anybody else that's wanting to really know stuff, that's the reason why people don't want to come to church, because people are so freaking nosy. You guys don't pray, you don't care, you think that everybody's just going through stuff. Somebody could drop dead in front of you, you wouldn't care. Why? Because you don't care. You just care about being famous. That's the reason why a lot of older saints said it's an abomination to do, preachers of LA, because worship is not for TV. Worship is just worship. But we want to sit there and be famous and be stars and act a fool and be disrespectful to the gospel. And you didn't write the gospel. I didn't either. So why am I going to be disrespectful to somebody that was somebody else's story? That's what I'm saying. We don't have respect for anything. That's the reason why other countries call us barbaric. And then we have the audacity to tell them, NATO, what to do in their own country. And we don't have respect for ourselves. The fact that R. Kelly is just now getting reprimanded. Aaliyah's been gone how long? And he's just now getting reprimanded. You don't value women. And that's my issue. I don't have a lot of patience for men telling a woman what to do with her body. Yes, the Bible says this and this and this, but guess what? The ones that aren't married, you don't have a right to tell us what's wrong with our body. You don't have it. We have vaginas. You guys have genitalia. There's a big difference. We have periods, you don't. We carry babies, you don't. We go through pain and you don't. You need to read. And that's part of the problem, because y'all don't read, because nobody cares to do that. You got folks in there, I'm not reading all that. And that's the reason why you're ignorant, because you're so used to people telling you what to do, but you're attacking somebody that's real. I don't need filters and all these different weave and extensions to do with my hair to make me look like somebody that I will never be. I will never be a white woman. I am African American and Indian American. I cannot do anything about my skin tone. I'm so sorry, gay people. I love y'all, but I was born this way. If you guys feel like you weren't born that way, if you were, that's your business. I'm not in your business, but you can't sit there and tell me what my business is. That is my problem with some of the community. You guys are too busy trying to tell me what to do with my life. I don't tell you what to do with your life, so don't come in and tell me what to do with mine. You don't know what I go through. The rules are different for black people, very much so. On another episode of SMS News Channel.